Welcome to Paramotor Hangout on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, right here, right now. I am so excited about this show. We got a lot of information about an up and coming paramotor fly in. It's all in the works. We actually have dates booked, all this other good stuff, and we will talk about that here shortly. Right now, we want to discuss, after we introduce the two other guys on the panel here, what we all did this past weekend. Mr. Will, since you're on top of Mark in the window.
Well, today I had the privilege, or not today, last week I had the privilege of hanging out with these guys and many others like Paramotor NC Ben and Nick and who else? Brian
You mean
Haydale Waller.
you mean PPG, the other Nick, and Hey Bell Waller and Smart Car Brian.
Mark R. Brian, yeah, did I what how to anyways, yeah, Nick, PPG, the other Nick. That's right. So I had a great time going down to Florida, and I got to see my first alligators while flying a paramotor. I've seen many alligators, but never while flying. There's some big suckers down there too,
Yeah.
almost as big as the mosquitoes. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so nice just to be able to take off wearing shorts and a t-shirt again. Man,
In the afternoon, in the morning, as a sweatshirt and pair of pants. Nothing big, but
yeah.
Mr. Paralife PPG Mark McElroy, how's it going, sir?
I am doing lovely and really glad to be here and glad to be able to talk to the people in the chat. Had a great time down there at the fly-in, as you know, like always. It's really good hanging out and really good food.
So, uh, I'm going to skip asking Mark this question because I already know the answer. It's going to be Krista. But Will, what was your favorite part about the fly-in?
Actually, for a change, was the scenery. I mean, of course I love you guys, you know that, but there was so many new things to see there that I was just intrigued by going around the water and the alligators, looking for pigs. Never did see a pig.
Really?
No, not one pig. So I'll have to go back and do it again.
Yeah, right.
It's just a great place to fly.
Yeah, you're going to get a chance to go back, from what I'm understanding.
It sounds like.
Mark, let me go ahead and ask you, what was your favorite part about the little mini fly-in we had?
Other than spending the weekend with Krista, other than that, the flying was great. There was Smart Car Brian's, I believe, cousin played live music for us one night. That was fantastic, sitting around the fire. And the flying, and like Will said, it was really cool. I got to see alligators for the first time, from the air. And I did see one pig, which was kind of humorous because when I went back and looked at the video, there was actually two of them, and I only saw one of them. But saw deer. I saw better looking deer than I thought were in Central Florida. So, anyways, it was great. Had a nice time. Got to see my family, some of them. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was. You know what I like about that area to fly is you can literally cut across pastures for miles and not run across power lines. This is probably the least. I mean, we've been to fly-ins where every field has a power line running across it one way or the other. This place is so. I know both of you guys. We were talking about going across to do a cross country for that sand dune mining thing that they have off in the which is about 10 miles away. If you head from where we were at there, you will run across what I call the grasslands. It's grass that literally comes up maybe mid thigh, and that's all there is for miles. So when you're now, if you could land out in this, I don't know how the heck you're getting out. I truly don't see you getting any of your gear out, but because I mean, it's like waist, mid thigh to waist high grass, and it just goes forever. So, but as Ben and I were flying that way, I mean, there were deer and hogs everywhere. Couldn't really see the hogs that well. You could just see the grass separating like the little raptors on Jurassic Park. No, you could just see the grass going. You're like, that's either a raptor or a pig.
Can you
But
eat them? Tony wants to know. Can you eat wild pigs?
yes, I do it all the time. I take that back. Yes, during hunting season and the colder, so the beginning of hunting season is still 110,000 degrees here, but a lot of the hunters will start feeding the deer corn and the hogs corn. So over the next several months, these pigs absolutely chow down on all the corn. So they have a real at the end of this time of year, the end of January, they have a real fat layer of, or they have a layer of fat. So yes, they're good that time. Summertime, I wouldn't eat one to save my life because it'll probably kill you because they don't eat much.
What crane is David talking about? What's up, David?
So Dave is talking about the crane that PPG Gorilla flies around over at Wauchula, which none of us flew at Wauchula, which was our game plan.
Yeah.
But we were given the go ahead to fly out back of the campground. And on my way to that sand dune mining thing, I turned around because I thought nobody else was going with me, and I didn't want to go all by myself. So 3/4 of the way there, I turned around to meet Ben and Mark, you were there.
Yeah.
And we flew around a crane that was just as big as the one over by Wauchula. Tons of buzzards on it, nests. Hasn't been used in a billion years. It was awesome. And the winds that afternoon were a little strong going one way, but not so strong going the other way. We was moving. This place has, I mean, just a plethora of things to go see. It's a ton of farmland, pastures, some cows, but most of it is just desolate. It has just for us, it's paradise for us, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, you're probably used to flying in that environment. For me, I opted out. I opted out of the cross country because there was just so much for me to see real close to the LZ. You know,
Yes.
and it was new to me. And when I go back, I still haven't explored all the surrounding area of the LZ. There's plenty to see. So
yes, when I was flying around the campground, by the way, it's like 1,200 acres campground. So when I say fly around it, yeah, you're not doing that on the first to see everything. You're not doing that on your first flight, your second flight. You're still going to have a ton of stuff to go see. This to me you have swampland, you have a lakes, the lakes to go fly around, which have. So I have a video called Flying with Pigs and Hogs. I actually, in that video, I think you can count literally 60 plus alligators on that video. And that was not even the ones that before it got in camera frame, they went underwater. And you two can contest. How many alligators did you see in one flight around that lake?
oh, I lost count. There's alligators everywhere.
Don't
You know
go
what's
down
really weird looking? It's like spooky. Is you can see the alligators like
underwater.
in the water, underwater.
Yep.
That's creepy, man.
Yeah. It's not bad flying over a 5 or 6 footer, but when you go over the 10 or 12 footer and he's just like, I mean, one of them, I don't know who was behind me on the counterclockwise trip around the lake, but this gator was up in the mud, and when I flew over, he never even flinched, and he was you couldn't put your arms around even half of his body around his belly. He was that big. And when I flew over him, he didn't even move. I was like, yeah, that's because he knows he can eat anything and everything he wants. And no one's going to say nothing. Yeah, it was incredible. And I don't know why there were so many dead birds in that lake. Did you guys notice that?
I didn't see any.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of dead birds around the perimeter of that lake, and up on the end closest to the plant, whatever kind of industry that is right there, there's a ton of dead cow bones piled up
Yeah.
there.
You
Yeah.
think that's from
So,
the gators?
well, no, the gator's gonna eat. So yeah, I don't understand the whole bird thing because I mean they were dead long before we ever got there. So I know it didn't have anything to do with us flying that area.
No.
But I'm trying to figure out um, if there's that many gators and there's something dead and it's a free meal, why the heck aren't they taking that and taking care of it? You know what I mean? It was weird.
Yeah, I was thinking it had to be something in the water, some kind of pollution killing those birds, but the alligators were fine, appeared to be fine, so I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that is actually a power plant to make power. So they have an intake of the pond water and an outtake of the heated water for after they've cooled their towers or whatever. And that is why that pond has so many alligators because it's perfect temperature for them year round. Gets too warm, you swim to the other side. If it's not warm enough, you swim towards the outtake, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Uh, so I know that PPG, the other Nick, said he put in here when you got splashed. So I thought Mark was behind me, and we were taking a trip around the lake, and there was two gators. It actually happened to be PPG, the other Nick. I'm so down low, close to the water and the shore edge, that when these gators tried to get back in the water and they were splashing or swinging their tails, they were splashing. I got hit with two oversprays, if you will, and these gators going in back in the water. That's how close you get to them. It was freaking phenomenal. Every time I've flown around that lake, it has been just nonstop excitement. So,
Nice intro, Daddy Dutch.
yeah.
This is
Right out of the
Thursday, I
box.
guess.
Oh, Mark, you standing next to Daddy Dutch would be great.
Soup.
What?
Forgot to mention Soup. I got to meet Soup.
I don't even know who Soup is. No, I'm just kidding.
Great
Jason.
guy.
So Soup is a non-flyer who just bought his he bought a camper from Tiny Camper Company. I think Ben is going to, Paramotor NC is going to be doing a video on that camper. And I think yours too, Will, right? Or no?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Jason's listening. He's here. Don't be talking smack. Look. He's here. Don't let him do it. He's like, I got to keep you guys in check. Yeah, so it was awesome how we were stacked up in one little group. It kind of ended up on the end, almost, would you call it a peninsula? The way that the corner was.
I guess.
So we had Mark, myself, Smart Car Brian, Hay Bellwaller, Ben and Will, and then Jason, and then Brian. Or we forgot Parker, James Parker. He was there as well. But we were all just kind of in this little corner, and at the back of all the campsites we just put one fire pit there, and we just sat around all night. Well, not all night, but all day and most of the night, and burned firewood. And like Mark said, we had a live band or live singer, guitar singer, and it was freaking awesome, dude. We actually Friday was my son's 27th birthday, so we sang happy birthday, had cake, and everything was that night was pretty good. Again, I thank you guys for being there for Krista and I and Kaylee for a day like that, because it's always hard for us unless we have a ton of good people around, and we were absolutely filled with good friends. So, Walter's in the chat. I seen something today on, I believe it was TikTok. Let me ask you guys, you two on the panel right now. there's a conspiracy that Australia does not really truly exist. Have you ever truly seen a child speaking Australian in real life? They're always grown up. You
Hmm.
never see a Australian child.
No, I don't think I have.
Other than Walter,
Never
who's gonna
crossed my mind.
lie and say he has because he lives in Australia and
Supposedly.
supposedly because it's not a real freaking country. It's not even really there. Dude, I seen that and I was started thinking about it for like a good hour. I was like, I've never seen a child from Australia. They've always been like everyone you see is always an adult. So do with that information as you will. uh,
Huh.
Walter said he was a kid once. Yeah. Back when dinosaurs were I mean what?
What?
What happened? So what else? So another amazing thing about this park, it has how many shower houses? I think it has 2 shower houses, correct?
I only know of one because that's all I.
So it might be one
Yeah,
shower house.
no, I think it has 2.
Okay. There is fishing. There is boat docks. You can put your boats in if you brought a boat or kayaks. What else? Oh, there's trails.
And
Freaking
there's deer and turtles and raccoons.
Yep. Hogs.
yeah, there's hogs. This park. If you have a Segway or a golf cart, bicycles, you guys can ride trails for days in this park. The 2 lakes that are up front, I think it's over a mile and a half or so around both of those, and it's the whole park is amazing, and they're PPG friendly. You just have to make sure that you ask where it is okay to take off from and land. And as we all know, don't fly over congested areas. But if you foot drag or fly low on the front pond right by all the campers, all of those campers absolutely loved every bit of that. They actually would stop us and say, "Hey, were you guys the paramotor guys flying around?" We're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh my god, we loved it. Thanks for the free show." And then Mark, being as cheesy as he is, he's like, "Well, that was a $20 air show. I need my money."
Yeah.
I needed gas money.
Yeah, I got one word for you though. As far as doing a water foot drag, it would be a real drag if something didn't go right.
Yeah,
The one with the alligator.
I wouldn't know nothing about that.
Nope.
Oh yes, raccoons. So this is my wife and I's probably 20th time being at this park. The very first time we went to this park was right after the poker run in Wachula with PPG Gorilla. We left there and was on the way home. Didn't really want to go home. Looked up this park, found it, stopped in. Mark, you have the exact price with tax per night. What is it?
$27.25.
So for less than $28 a night, you can have power and water, which is amazing. I believe Hodges Field up there, water and power per night
is 30 now, which is still perfectly fair.
Yes, I 100% agree. So this park, I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans, guys. This park wants to bring in more people to the park, and they asked myself to do a fly-in there at this park. There are one huge field. When I say huge field, I mean it's gigantic up front of the park, and then way out back where we flew out of this weekend is another. It's really super long. It's how wide would you say that front field is that we flew out of?
I have no idea. I mean, way. I mean, there's just so much room that anybody could launch from there.
Mark, would you say that's 190 to 100 yards wide in that front field?
Yeah,
or
that
not the
front field's more that the field we took out of is more
that's
than 100 yards wide.
and how long would you say? So the length actually goes around the whole corner of
Yeah, that length is 1,000 yards.
right, and there's a few trees involved towards that other side, but we're planning to have a fly in there. The park is looking to bring in people from around the area to come in for the day to watch us fly. So any of the guests of the park will be paying $5 at the gate to come in. Us paramotor pilots, you have two options, and here's the two options. If you want to pay for power and water, it's less than $28 a night, but you will not be on the flight line. You have to go out back and take off out there. Um, the other option is $10 a night to boondock out back where you're on the flight line. The choice is yours. I would assume the money that you're saving on not having power and water, you're going to spend having power to run or gas to run your generators. So it is a little weird setup, but we are working out the details. But the date has been set, and since Angela asked, I have to just answer all her questions.
Yeah.
So it's going to be when I say June 11th. What is it? Help a brother out.
Second week in June. So
it's going to be the 8th through the 11th. That is going to be a Thursday to Sunday.
Yep, that's right.
You can actually fly from the park to Wauchula Airport and back. And I think depending on the winds, I think it's a 10-minute flight each way. It's pretty close.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing that I love about the Moonshiners flying is that stream. You know, there's just something to do in the middle of the day when you're not flying or whatever, place to hang out. There's some extra. This park, man, it just goes on and on. When I first turned off the road to go to the park, it's like, I don't know, it seemed like it was over a mile just to get to the campsites. But it's just a perfect site. I have to say, I think it's the most perfect site for a fly-in.
We do have an option for flying, taking off and landing up front as well, which is twice the area that's out back. But it just depends on how many people we get. If there's not a lot of people, then we're just going to go out back and take off from there and not have but what they want is for the spectators to park off to the side, and then for us to foot drag the road or the grass, fly in front of everybody and do a little show. That's what they're wanting to do, to involve the people in the area. And again, there are cows and horses, so don't be flying like any other flying. Don't chase the cattle and don't chase the horses. It's pretty simple. Yeah. So it's this park is absolutely amazing. I am going back on the 3rd to finalize everything and talk about some of the things that we need to fix, change, whatever. The one field in the back that we were launching from, they have a telephone pole right in the middle of the field. Why? No one knows. So we're going to talk about removing that. Hopefully we can get that removed, and then that would make the field even bigger because you don't have to worry about running to a power pole. Or it's not a power pole. It's just a pole. There's no power to it. It is... there is. Yeah, Jason Russell Smith just said there is a prison. We will have to, put that as a no-fly area, as any other fly-in. You got a prison around, don't go over it. It's plain and simple.
I was kind of thinking just stay away from prisons in general when you're flying or not flying. Either way, there's no good time to be at a prison.
Amen to that.
Tony just asked, what makes this place so special? We just spent 10 minutes talking about how great the scenery was. and there's very few people from Vegas. That makes it even better. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, if Angela shows up, I'm fine with that. But no, the place is just amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous. You do get different types of terrain. Like I said, the grasslands that are, is that north? Well,
Is
or
what
is,
north?
where that hill is, that mountain of sand or whatever the heck that mining is, that north or
Yeah,
is
I think
that
it is. I think it is because when you walk out of your camper, that direction's north. So it's kind of that way, right? Or maybe it's east.
either which
Yeah.
way?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's that
I
way.
would say northeast.
yeah.
Okay,
And
so
Will, post your question that you put up there.
Oh, this one here. Let's see, which one? Oh, this one. That wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
so
Sorry. Yeah, that one.
we have been throwing around the ideas of the name of the flying. We haven't really pinpointed it yet. What so here's the best part. So all the vehicles coming into the park that pay $5 that aren't paying or aren't staying there, the park is charging them $5, which is a normal rate for that park. The camping fees all go back to the park. All of the pilot fleet fees, which is going to be $50 per pilot, um, all of that money is going to go to, if you guys remember, um, the high school that my son went to, they one of the teachers there started a scholarship in Gage's name. So all of the money that minus whatever I got paid for porta potties or whatever, every bit of the money that is left over is going to the high school so that a student each year gets a $500 scholarship in Gage's name. They have to do an essay. They have to have a good GPA. They have to have good attendance, like all this stuff that there's a requirement for it. And I will get all that information and have it on for the next show. But all the money is going to the school to help kids with scholarships.
I'm just going to throw these names up as people come up with them. I'm just going to kind of throw them up there.
I will. The name of the park is called Hardy Lakes. So Paramotor NC came up with Hardy Boys Fly In, which may sound like we're excluding women, and that's not the case. But I was just going with a cool name or a nice, I don't know, a name. I was going to come up. I came up with a Gage Robbins scholarship fly in, but it's too long. Hardy Party. Oh, well, I like Hardy Party.
Guy.
Don't answer Dave Wolf. Just ignore that one.
I personally
Funny,
think
man.
you
I'm
got
going
to
to put
keep.
that up there.
Yeah.
I hope that you keep Gage's name in it.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
But I can't add in Gage Robbins scholarship fly-in. That's too damn long.
Well, is it okay for me to say what I said earlier, Shane?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because Shane and I was talking, and the way I figure is if you name it something long, people won't remember the name. But if you name it something short and concise and easily remembered, like you call it Hardy, whatever, and then next to that, proceeds to benefit the in whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? So kind of what they do with Resurgence. Proceeds benefit Resurgence PPG or whatever. Okay, just ideas. That's all.
And that's what I'm looking at. I'm not here to. There's no filter. So it say what you got to say. You want to say it. That ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I want to do this for my son. I want to do this for the students. So, and see, I like Wallers too.
Gauge Day. Yep. Yeah, something short and sweet. Something easy to remember.
So
I still kind of like the David Wolf flying. Kind of cool.
yeah, but we want people to go there, not run
Oh,
from there.
oh man.
So yeah, the park is absolutely gorgeous. And in June, we're gonna have still some fairly cooler mornings, not like 60s or 70s, but it'll be mid 70s, 70 high 70s. And then afternoons, we may have an afternoon shower too. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but I mean it's Florida, so weather in Florida is normally pretty doggone good and warm. So
How about the afternoon thunder boomers there?
did I miss that one?
No, that's me asking.
Oh, I'm like over here going what? Tony, gauge fly fly in. I said good day. But yeah, there's options. I mean, we can all launch out of there and head over to Wauchula, land at Wauchula, and maybe even do some sort of, I don't know. I still got to get a hold of Rick Davies and ask him if he wants to be part of this, even show up, because there's going to be a lot of spectators in the area that are going to show up. Maybe they want to fly. It'd be a good opportunity for a school that's literally right there to be present. This all, as we've been throwing this together since pretty much Wednesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, something like that. And the park is all about it. Their new director wants a lot of activity in this park, and this is one way for them to get that done. So you'll have an option to camp. And when I say you're camping with power, how far would you guys say if you left camp to go to the flight line? How far would you drive? Say that. How long would you say that drive is? You got to go 10 miles an hour through the park. Maybe four minutes, 5 minutes.
I was thinking maybe what half a mile.
Yeah, it's you're not gonna walk your paramotor over there. You're gonna take a car or a truck.
Yeah.
But if you're on the flight line out back, you're running a generator, paying $10 a night, and you're right there. So it really depends if you have the ability to take a paramotor and you want to run air conditioning the entire time, then Angela actually asked him in the messenger today if he wanted to come back and play on a Saturday night, and we would set him up out back and out on the flight line after it's dark and no one's flying, and just if he wants to do it, great. If he doesn't, this is what he does for a living, so he may be busy, he may have to work. I don't know, but I did ask him, and I'm waiting to hear a reply.
But I promise, if he doesn't perform, Shane will.
Comedy. Dad jokes all night. I'll be here all night.
He did a great job. That was just that was a treat.
Yeah, I mean, Krista's the one that kind of put that all together. I was just like, but Stevie has sung for us before, and he doesn't like small groups. He's more used to, like a small intimate group. Dave, I'm unable to do that. I will get stuff caught in the prop. And
what are you gonna do? Try and get in your seat backwards?
No, I'm just saying, at my age, things hang down further than they used to. I didn't say it was going to be a major part. I don't even need the things that are going to go through the prop anymore, but.
Here's Brian's Brian idea there. Gator kicking.
Yeah, but now we're encouraging people to kick the gators.
Hell yeah.
Man.
Think of the videos.
Mark's just going to be... Mark's going to be on their 6, everyone, just right behind him. Come on, do something dumb. Do something dumb. Oh, that's a big one. Kick it. Kick it. Well, oh, that guy didn't make it. Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, totally forgot to mention this. So an older gentleman shows up to the field. Everybody was flying. Mark and I decided not to fly that night. And he came over asking about schools and where he can get training. And I asked him where he was from. He said he was from Wisconsin. And I did tell him about the school in Wisconsin called Northern Lights. And he said he lived 4 hours from Tomahawk. So there's a chance that school may or may not get a new pilot. He's going to need a trike. It's a little bit of a heavy-set older gentleman, but was very interested in it. I sat there and talked to that guy almost the entire time while I was trying to watch everybody fly. And it was definitely nice on my part, if you will, and just help support each other in this community. And I did my part. Whether the guy goes through with it or not, I did my part. So, take it or leave it, whatever.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I don't know. I was trying to.
I heard, man. I got a question for you and for the chat. You ready for this?
Yes, what we got?
Have you ever come close to blacking out while flying?
Only at the SIV.
That counts. How about you, Mark?
No, not at all.
Anyone in the chat come close to blacking out? I have twice.
Of course, I don't. All I do is just fly. I don't do any acro at all, so nothing.
We'll see
So,
what I guess.
for me, I was practicing spiral downs, and Andrew has 5 levels of spiral down: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we started out with 1, and then went to 3, and then pulled out of that, then went to 2, and then to 4. I did 4 for about 2 rotations and decided that wasn't going to happen anymore. And then we reset up again and started out at 2. We went to 4, and then he's like, pull a little bit more to 5. And I was like, not today, bro. Not today. Listen, I know if I blinked, I was going to go to sleep. Like, I knew if I literally blinked, I was going to go to sleep. I felt that. And when I landed, I was done for the rest of the day. I felt horrible the rest of the day. I flew one more time, or I was pulled up. And when I got up there, I was like, don't feel right. And I was asked to go ahead and go into a spiral down. And I was like, nope. He's like, all right, let's go to the right. I was like, nope. He's like, if you're good. He goes, if you're good, just give me big ears. I'm like, boom, I'm done. He's like, all right, I'll see you back when you get here. Dude, I'm telling you, I felt horrible. Even that night when I went to sleep, I felt off the entire night. Like, it was just, I don't know how to explain it, but I did not feel right. And it's just from literally all the blood getting sucked out of your head to your toes in a spiral. And that's the only time I've ever felt that way. When I do spiral downs now, I'll do maybe 2 rotations, and they're not a 4. There may be a high 2, low 3. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want any part of that. I just decided it wasn't for me, and I'm good with what I do. I'm comfortable with it.
Yep. Well, Dave Wolf said that he has, yes, I have. The first time he came back from an SIV doing a SAT for the first time with the motor on my back. And Greg Laney says, when I got the invoice for his equipment.
Yeah. Oh, man. Man, I remember that time looking at my bank account. I was like, dude, I'm so rich. And then I paid for all my gear. And I was like, oh, my God, I'm broke. Like, it was nothing. Just, it was gone. I was like, holy crap. Oh, that hurt. It hurt so bad.
Waller said he pleads the fifth.
The reason I brought this up is both times that I came close to it, I recognized it and immediately stopped. I don't know if everybody has the same ability to recognize an oncoming blackout like that, but both times were from doing spiral downs. So just be careful doing that, and just know that it can happen. For me, I just get real lightheaded, and it's almost, I won't say time kind of slows down because it's not really it. It just, things dim, if that makes any sense. Just kind of things get a little dimmer, and maybe a little tunnel vision thrown in there. But yeah, just be careful with that. What's up, Lift Paramotor Austin? What's going on, man? We lose our host with the most. John Wayne says back in his younger days, blackouts were common. Not that kind of blackout. Yeah.
Yeah, John Wayne. But yeah, so the fly-in is going to be our first year, and I say us, I mean whoever wants to be involved in it. But it is a lot of work. I mean, I've been talking about this since Wednesday with this guy from the county, and there have been emails, there have been phone calls with all of you guys. Been like a whole lot of just, and I can only imagine the closer it gets, the more it's going to be involved and turn into a full-time job that, like I said on this channel, if this becomes a job, I don't want to do it anymore. But it's just, I don't know. I would rather just chill, and have fun. So guess what? This fly-in be my first fly-in that I go to that I won't be able to fly because guess who's going to be too busy?
See, that ain't right, man. That ain't right. You still should be able to fly. I don't care what your role is in the flying. There should be some flying for you. I mean,
Ben said, if you're crazy if you don't take the first 30 minutes in the morning and go fly. I'm not going to have it. There's not going to be a chance. And Jace, our soup, called me today. He's like, hey, what are you cooking at this flying? I'm not. I'm literally just going to be Krista and I, and it'll be no breakfast until after flying in the morning. Lunch, and then after everyone lands, I'll make dinner. That's literally how it's going to be. There's not going to be any time. How do you figure I'm going to have time?
I don't know, but what am I going to eat?
There's this guy over here with the scratched up Paramotor Life or Paralife box on the back of his truck.
Oh, whoa. That's a little soon for that.
Too early?
Yeah, way too early. Way too early for jokes there.
See, look here, right here. This guy who's helped with the flying before just said it. And I'm already down for not doing it, not flying. This is what I want for my son. I want to keep his name alive and keep his legacy going. And for you guys that don't know the story, whatever, he was phenomenal. Took chemo and radiation treatments left and right, strong stuff that just absolutely knocked him on his butt. And every time he was told it didn't work, he was just, hey, no problem. We got this. What's the next one? Let's do something else. Let's do, like, his attitude greatly helped his mother and I and his sister keep our sanity, because we are literally watching our son deteriorate to nothing, and this kid smiled all the way up to the day, literally even past this, the day the doctors told us that he wasn't going to live past today, and we took him off the sedation or heavy meds that he was on to keep him asleep so he wouldn't be in pain. And he woke up. We explained to him what was, that he's not going to be able to live past today, and he gave us a thumbs up. He had a tube down his throat, so he couldn't talk, but he literally gave us a thumbs up. Wrote on the dry eraser board, said it's all going to be okay. I love you guys, whatever. So it truly helped us on that day and his entire fight, the positivity that he had the entire time of 10 months fighting cancer. So for us to be able to do this for him is so important. So I just, it sucks we lost him. And my wife and I, my daughter, we literally suffer every day being survivors to it. So if we can do this for him, it definitely helps us get through the next day. So I'm looking for volunteers after that one. Mark. No, Krista and Kaylee said they'd help with registration. You're going to come in, you're going to pay if you're camping with power, you're going to pay the park. If you're going to camp out back with a generator, you're going to pay the park. When you come in after that, you'll hit registration. You'll pay for the registration fees and sign the waiver. And then you'll get, there'll be signs to show you where to go and where not to go to camp. So it'd be pretty simple, pretty easy. Like I said, if you got power, you're going to be further from the LZ, but not to the point. I mean, we all did it every morning and afternoon, had paramotors in the back of the trucks and drove back to the LZ, and it was not a problem. If you don't have a camper and you want to, if you're in a tent and you want to be out back, great. If you want power, you're up front. Thanks, Nick. I greatly appreciate that.
James, that it's going to be the second week of June. Oh, there you go. We'll fly at it. And I don't think you have trouble getting people to volunteer. There's a lot of us that will come early and fly or whatever, or we just don't care. But we'll be helping. That's for sure.
I can't ask you guys to drive out of state to come and work. You know what I mean? It just... I think
you can for a couple of your friends.
Will said he will fly. He will help every afternoon that's not flyable.
Yeah,
right.
And
yes,
and the talk
right.
there about Brian's name is good.
Yes, that was Gauge Day, or what was it?
Quiet for Gauge.
I missed that one. All right, I'll have to go back through the chat and look.
Yeah. You know what sets this apart from other events, in my opinion, is they came to you wanting you to do a fly in there. It's not like you went to them asking permission to do it. So I mean, they're really, really open to the idea, obviously, and
so
pretty cool.
So the very first time, the second time I stayed there, because the first time it was after the poker run, and the sun was already setting. My wife and I just put 2 chairs out and watched the sun go down over the lake. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it was just her and I. It was all super quiet and nice. And then we went back shortly after that. And when I checked in, I was like, "Hey, do you guys have a problem with me flying my paramotor out of here?" And they're like, "It doesn't say anything in the rules that you can't. Just do it out back." And I was like, "Okay." So I launched for 3 days or 4 days, every morning, every afternoon there, and had a great time. And then every time I've gone back, I've said to them, "Hey, I'm gonna fly my paramotor if you don't mind." "Nope, have fun. Just don't fly up, up towards the front or whatever." But now with this fly-in, they're wanting us to fly from up front, or at least fly around the camping section and then down the road where they're going to have spectators on one side of the road or the other. So I think it'll be super awesome for those who like to showboat or fly a little bit more than normal and show off, this is going to be it, because they're going to have spectators literally paying to come and watch us fly, which I think is amazing. They're going to do radio advertisements for locals. They're going to do flyers around the town, and they literally are wanting us to come there so bad and bring some new life to the park. And it makes it sound like the park isn't doing well. The park's beautiful. The only, and I will tell you this, and this is literally in the reviews left and right, the only negative I have about this park is if you go over 10 miles an hour, you will dust every person in that campground with your car. The roads are dirt roads, and when I say dirt roads, it's literally dirt roads. And the dust flies and it gets over everything. I came home, had to wash my golf cart. It was totally trashed. I wiped down the segways. They were totally trashed. Yeah, so be mindful when you come in. The speed limit when you first come in is 20 mile an hour. Get in the camping section, it drops to 10. There's a reason for that. Look in your rearview mirror. You'll see the dust. But yeah, that would be literally the only thing, and that's only on the roads. And once you get out back, what's that?
Well, I was going to say they're dirt roads, but they are very, very nice dirt roads. I mean, you're smooth and wide. Yeah, so it is dusty.
Nope, and I'll be completely honest with you. As usual, it is dusty. I didn't have any issues other than you get a side-by-side. Yeah, if you have a side-by-side, they allow side-by-sides, no four-wheelers, but they do allow side-by-sides, golf carts, segways, bicycles, all that stuff. And there is horses. Yeah, if you got horses, bring them. You just got to build your own little portable stall for them. But yeah, there's horses. They have horse stall area, and the park is amazing, absolutely gorgeous. We will give more information out next week on the show. I just wanted to put this out there now, as there is a new fly-in for January 8th through the 11th. I'm sorry, June 8th through the 11th this year. And it's going to be a blast. $50 pilot fee. And Brian said, how about trikes? If you're like I said, if you're gonna be camping where there's power, and there are bathhouses and bathrooms, so you can shower. If you're out back in a tent, or get a campsite with a tent or camper, and you don't want to use your camper shower, there is a shower house, or I know for sure one shower house, and then with the bathrooms, and then the other one may or have. I can't remember if the other one has a shower in it or just bathrooms. Either which way. Mark, how many showers are in the men's bathroom there?
3.
Will, how many showers are in the girls' bathroom?
3.
I can't ask Krista. She's not here. I was going to ask. I was like,
that's funny.
So I just set Will up for failure. He's like, and I'm just willing to help you, and now you're going to throw me under the bus. So yeah, I am absolutely tickled pink about this. I think it's going to be phenomenal. Angela, I will get with you after this, and we will have a conversation. But yeah, I am just ready to rock on this. I think it's going to be a great event. If I can get Stevie to do solo on a guitar for Saturday night, great. The county is actually going to have food trucks come out, I believe, Friday and Saturday. So there are going to be food trucks, and they have a pavilion up front, and that's where everybody's going to gather and eat. And I don't know what else they're going to do, but they got a whole laundry list of stuff to get done, and to bring this park some new life, if you will.
So you see from Dave what his suggestion is. I like it. Here's a good question for you, Shane.
Oh well.
How about loud generators? Will they be shunned?
So
They should be, because I've camped next to one before.
Yeah.
so actually, the park does not normally allow uh, boondocking, but they are allowing it for this event. But with that being said, these if you don't have an inverter generator, Mark is going to tell you you're a dick. Um, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but you're going to have to shut that off by 10. If you got an inverter generator, I was telling Will, he and I at Swanee, um, we were in a tent together, and literally the generator was 4 feet from our heads, and we both slept just fine. I mean, Will kept snuggling me a little more than normal, but
A bit much for a man.
And so I just kept at it.
Angela, you're flying into Florida. You're not bringing a generator with you.
And David Wolf, the answer is yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you could show up anytime, way before the flying, or stay way after. These people literally love this sport. They love the attention it gives the park. So they're helping us out with giving us a new place for a fly-in, and it helps them out with revenue and bringing year-round attention to the park.
Absolutely. It's a win-win.
I would love to have done a cold winter, like people up north. They are not flying very much right now. I got my back door open and a fan on because it's still warm here. But I would love to do a February fly there, but there's no electric. That all the snowbirds have taken every bit of that up, so that's a no go.
Weren't they working on maybe setting something else up so that they could accept cards? Or was that?
All right, so right now they just had a meeting yesterday. This park, I don't want to say they're behind in times, but they just didn't want to deal with going electronic. So whenever you booked a site, if it was a month or two out, you would have to send them a check for a deposit, and then you would show up and pay your other half in cash or a personal check. Well, they just had a meeting yesterday, and they're going to try to get it to where we can book online. Um, and of course, by next week, I'll be able to tell you more information on that. If who told Krista she can come on this channel? Oh,
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. We
Why?
voted on it while you were gone, and it was 2-0.
She can come on anytime she wants to.
um, so yes, they're working on it so we can do an online thing. Worst case scenario, if you're planning on going, you're gonna have to write a check, get their address, send it to them. Well, of course, call them and say I would like to reserve, blah blah blah, for these dates, and then send a deposit in a form of a check or what have you. But hopefully they're going to change that, and we can just go online, get your campsite, and you're good to go. FYI, guys, I'm trying to get the campsite that I had last time because I really liked it with all the trees. And yes, Krista, I will bring a freaking hammock this time. Krista's like, should I bring a hammock? I'm like, no, there's no trees. Show up, there's trees everywhere.
Brian had a perfect setup for his hammock.
I trust me, I know. I heard all about it. I couldn't bring my hammock. Tell me not to bring my hammock. I'm just kidding. She wasn't that annoying, but she did point out. She did point out how many trees were around.
I bet she did.
All right, guys. Will, you got a video coming out anytime soon?
I just released one last week, just the tip 6.0, and 7.0 isn't far behind that. So yeah,
but I've already seen that one.
I know. You can go to willflyppg.com or look for Will Fly on YouTube. You should find it.
Mr. Mark, you got a video coming out anytime soon?
Probably not till next week. I'll have a little video from this past weekend's flying or get together, whatever that was. But for everybody in the chat, please start spreading the word about this fly-in. It's a really nice park and it's a nice area to fly.
Yes, it is, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking for the hanging out part of it, and just apparently working my butt off because it's going to be a lot. That's from what I've been told so far.
Can I add? I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is important.
Hit it.
Live Paramotor says, did you know if you sneeze and fart at the same time, your body takes a screenshot? Got to think about that. I thought that was pretty funny, man.
What if it's not a fart?
It's got to be a fart.
All right.
There's
Well,
it.
hey, listen, I can't think of a better outro than that. All right, guys. Have a great night. See you guys next week. Peace out.
I've got a lot to say, can't hold it